What's going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII video, and today we're going to be looking at a brand new first preview from IGN for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is an 8-minute video of a person who works for IGN who got a chance to actually play the demo right before Junon, and there's a lot to cover here, guys, a lot to dissect. So we're going to do a reaction video to this because I think a lot is actually revealed in this video about the game itself and things we should be expecting. So let's get into it. I'm so damn excited.
From here. Final Fantasy VII Remake always felt like a marvel to me. An unlikely game that I have a hard time fathoming that it actually exists. To take one of the most well-known and beloved RPGs of all time and rebuild it into a modern package seemed an impossible task. Yet
And quite honestly, it was an impossible task, and that's why it took so damn long, right? It would have been out a lot earlier if they knew what the hell they wanted to do with it, but I think they did such a good job with what they constructed and built that Remake was an absolute, in my opinion, one of the best RPG experiences I've ever had in my life. So, big ups to Square on that.
Square Enix somehow managed to rise to the challenge. With Rebirth, the second entry in the planned trilogy of the FF7 Remake project, the task seems even more daunting. Going into Remake, it was unclear whether Square Enix would stay 100% true.
So, just gonna rewind for a sec here. This right here is so damn badass, man. I'm so glad we get Vincent. And I really hope that this is not at the end of the damn game, right? Because I don't think we get Vincent until like the third disc of the original game anyway. So, if he gets introduced early and we get him as a character, I'm totally all for it.
Square Enix would stay 100% true to the beloved original or make plot changes to one of the most well-known storylines in all of gaming. The answer, it turned out, was a bit of both. Remake followed the structure of FF7 nearly to a T, expanding out the original's Midgar section into a full game of its own, while also...
So I want to bring that point real quick. So in the original Final Fantasy VII, Midgar was like such an afterthought, right? It really was just something you wanted to get out of and go explore the world. Remake did something so well, and that's give Midgar life. I actually loved being in Midgar. I didn't want to leave at some point because there was just so much to explore, so much to see, and it made me kind of appreciate what Midgar is and was at the time of Final Fantasy VII. So Remake did such an incredible job at bringing Midgar to life that I wish I had been able to re-experience it in Final Fantasy VII again, just to see how different they were. Right? I didn't play Final Fantasy the original for a while, but I have to say Remake, big ups to the devs for doing such a great job with bringing Midgar to life, because I think it completely made me respect and love that area a lot more.
Also making small but significant to key moments.
Oh, it's real quick, and that right there is a good example of Cloud seeing an image from the future from a different timeline, right? So it just shows that it's not all the same timelines.
And now, Rebirth has the unenviable task of picking up this new, almost but not quite same story as Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, Barret, and Red 13 emerge from Midgar on the heels of Sephiroth. I went hands-on with a short demo section of the PS5 exclusive, playing through a bit of the flashback sequence from 5 years previous, where...
So just to rewind here just a little bit, I just want to talk about this. I talked about this a little bit during the yesterday video of like how Cloud met Avalanche and got hired by them, right? This is a perfect example of how messed up Cloud is in terms of his memory. Like, he still thinks this is him. Like, look at this face. This is not how Cloud looks, ever. He's always quiet and introverted, like I mentioned in the last video. This is literally Zack. And this is Tifa, and this is Sephiroth. That part is completely real. Where's Cloud? He's literally back here. Hold on.
From 5 years previous, where
they'll show him in a second.
Sephiroth approached the Mount Nibble reactor, as well as a second...
Oh, wait. Let me go back. Cloud is right there. Right there, the soldier. That's probably Cloud right there. There was two soldiers, I believe. There was somebody else and Cloud. So this is probably him right there. It's crazy. Anyway, let's go back here. Sorry, guys.
Approach the Mount Nibble reactor is a second section of the open area that the party explores before entering the military city of Junon.
That city they're headed to, is that...
Junon. Shinra territory.
At its core, Rebirth's combat is nearly identical to the system used in Remake, combining active attacking and movement with issuing commands to your party members when their action meter is full. You still pressure and stagger enemies, building the gauge via skillful combat and doling out massive damage when it's full. It's a fun system that provides a good mixture of modern active combat with the turn-based strategy that FF7 is known for. Fortunately, there are some new combat options available at your disposal. Rebirth introduces a new synergy system that lets you unleash multi-character combo attacks. Look out for synergy skills, which are basic combo attacks that can be used without an ATB charge, that you employ by holding R1 and then pressing square or triangle. These didn't feel terribly different from just mashing square to attack, but they do give you an additional way to vary your basic damage output. Rebirth also introduces synergy abilities, which can be used when two characters have built enough synergy gauge, a new secondary meter that's filled by using abilities.
So, if you are a fan of Chrono Trigger and you've played it, or any game that combines characters together, it's such an homage to those kind of games. Like, you can tell Square has really put a lot more effort into this. Like, those synergy attacks look so damn cool, man. I'm so excited to try these.
Essentially feel like additional limit breaks, giving you another source of big flashy damage to dole out. Synergy abilities vary depending on the characters using them, and they have fun little mini cutscenes, like Barrett unloading a salvo of bullets and then throwing Red 13 at the target. There's also new materia to expand your options in combat. In addition to one seen in Remake, like Synergy, Magnify, and Assess, I encountered a Precision Defense Focus materia, which extends the input timing window for perfect blocking,
So those materia are pretty common in these Final Fantasy games. They're really used to make the game a little easier for players who are either like have some sort of a disability, or have a hard time just having reaction times. These materia are actually built to make the game easier, which is great. Honestly, it caters to more of the players out there.
A Lightning and Wind materia, which enabled both arrow and thunder magic, and a level boost materia, which increases the level of the linked materia by 1. The demo also gave me a taste of how Rebirth will translate the expansive open world of FF7's world map into explorable zones. It won't be completely open world, but rather have large open areas that you'll be able to explore. Fans of the original will remember the pre-Junon section as a relatively empty bit of world map that the party traverses after emerging from the Mithril Cave. Here though...
So I'm going to say this right now. That actually makes me happy. I'm really glad it's not a completely open world. And I'll tell you guys why. I'm one of those gamers, this is like my own problem, that if you give me an open world with insane amount of side quests, I'm not doing the main storyline. I'm going through every single side quest and exploring every nook and cranny of the world before I start, and I never finish games. So this is actually a blessing for someone like me and my age. Might be upsetting to some other folks, but the lack of open world and just making it more like open concept is a much better environment for me as a gamer personally.
So it's a large open area with cliffs.
That's beautiful, by the way.
A picturesque bay with the imposing edifice of Junon looming in the background. In open areas like this, the party will explore on foot, in vehicles, and on the backs of chocobos. Poor Red 13. That cannot be comfortable.
What was that?
This section I played was fairly walled off at the edges, but it's unclear if these walls are actually hard separations from other zones, or if the world map actually is all connected, and you're just limited by the modes of traversal at your disposal, as was the case with the original FF7 overworld.
I remember that snake scene. If you want on foot, the snake attacks you.
Once you have one for that area, it can be summoned with R1. Chocobos will primarily be used for exploration and traversal, with specialized variants available in different areas. In the section I played, I only had access to a fairly basic chocobo that...
How cool are those damn shoes? Look like Air Jordans.
Gave me some extra speed, but we've seen in the gameplay trailer one that can scale cliffs and another that can fly. The open area also had some hunt-like encounters that were marked on the map. These
those chocobos look crazy good.
marked enemies seem to be specialized variants that came with a list of tasks to complete while fighting them. In the demo, these tasks were fairly basic: pressure and stagger an enemy, and defeat them all within a certain time limit. But I have to assume that more complicated challenges will be present in the full game. These fights could also be repeated if you wanted to take an additional stab at knocking out all the objectives. Meanwhile, the open areas are littered with crafting materials to pick up. Little bits like laurel leaves and mist seeds and manifestations of the planet's blessing, whatever that is. These can be used to craft basic items like potions and Phoenix Downs. There are also chocobo stops to unlock, which serve as fast travel locations, letting you return to...
Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad they have fast travel, because if they didn't, it would be a problem with this big of a map. I'm telling you, like, this has to happen in every game, pretty much. Like, the teleporting in Final Fantasy 16 is fine. This is just as good. And look how cute that damn chocobo is over there.
Previous zones even after you've moved on. And yes, you can pet the chocobo chick. Story-wise, Rebirth again feels very familiar, and yet also different. This is due in part to the tremendous difference in scale and presentation. Here, like with Remake, areas that were previously sparse or bare are expanded out into lush zones to explore. But there are also little changes that are mostly inconsequential, but they still play out in different ways than fans of the original FF7 are used to. Climbing Mount Nibble with Cloud, Sephiroth, and Tifa is effectively the same as people will remember it, right down to specific scenes like Sephiroth explaining how materia is crystallized Mako.
I'm glad they haven't touched that scene too much, because that's, again, a very iconic scene for all of the Final Fantasy VII games. The whole Nibelheim scene, like, with the climbing the mountain, getting to the Mako reactor, all of that is so important to the game and its history, right? So I'm glad they haven't touched that too much.
Mako energy to condense into something like this. It must have taken an eternity.
I've always wondered, how does materia let you cast spells exactly?
How did you ever get to be a soldier?
And then you'll run into something different, like needing to use a big honkin' vacuum cleaner to hoover up some Mako fumes before you can use an elevator. What was that about?
That's weird. That's weird.
Finally, there's the question of bigger changes. The end of Remake retcons a character death with fairly significant implications for FF7's story. Rebirth, meanwhile, will cover through the end of the original game's first disc, which, well, I'm not going to say anything. The real question, though, is whether the story-changing whispers of fate will show up again. That remains to be seen.
Oh, great. These assholes again. Probably some Shinra science experiment.
Remake did such a good damn job making Barrett come to life as well. Like he was like a character I really didn't care about in the original, but when they gave him a voice actor and the voice like was so perfect for him, and the fact that he was pure daddy mode. Shout out to somebody who mentioned that. I totally agree. He pretty much became one of my favorites easily.
Whispers.
For more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coverage, check out our interview with game director Naoki Hamaguchi, producer Yoshinori Kitase, and creative director Tetsuya Nomura. And for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.
Wait.
Oh, this is the fight scene where you get to use them.
What?
Get back.
This way.
You said you wanted to be a hero.
Wish I had.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
It thinks we're after materia.
Someone should tell it we're not.
I guess.
Bro, what? Yo, this player needs to play better. Sephiroth wouldn't get hit like that.
Try to keep your guard up.
Well, there you guys have it. I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely like riddled with anxiety, the fact that I have to wait till February 29th. I'm so happy about this release. I'm so happy that it's coming out in like what, 4 months, and it's something that I've been waiting for since Remake came out. So again, very, very happy with this, and we're expecting what, 2 more games I think after this one, right? So I really hope that this lives up to its expectations. And I'm very much looking forward to it, guys. So this is Payne. Hope you enjoyed the video. Shout out to IGN for putting this together. If you guys want to check out the original, I'll put it in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.